Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and this week we're going to be reviewing One Piece manga chapter 1122. Time is right. So please like and subscribe if you have not, and leave a comment below and your thoughts on this chapter and thoughts on our commentary. I am Akainu Fanboy, and the other guy is Geboss. So I love this amazing cover story because it's cool to see Smoker, one, but more importantly, the Yamato cover story has ended.
Well, you know the whole reason that it's Smoker, right?
No, actually,
this is the issue of Shonen Jump where My Hero Academia ended, and I guess it's 22 years ago. The author Horikoshi submitted a Smoker fan art to
really
Oda.
cool.
So, like, if you see in there, it says Hero Aka in the back of the smoke.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I think it was a nice little nod to My Hero Academia ending.
Oh, so that's okay. So wait, so that's from Horikoshi then?
No, Horikoshi 22 years ago drew a Smoker fan art, and then Oda reinterpreted it.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. No, that's really cool. Yeah, cool lore, and yeah, hopefully it stays that way and we don't have Wano. But going back to good stuff though, Pirate's going to control the world. So yeah, you see some of the citizens basically saying, do something, Navy, and you see people in Impel Down. You see the Navy getting upset as well and everything too. And I felt like this little section. So I just watched the most recent One Piece anime episode last night of Garp's Galaxy Fist and everything, and I was like,
it was amazing.
It was incredible, exactly. And then also, I just thought the way they portrayed Koby too, I just thought it was kind of interesting. I mean, or maybe it's just like it's a reminder of what happened in those chapters and how he was hyped up even before he does, his special attack at the end, right? So, like, what was it? Honesty Impact? I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then talking about that, again, we have a flashback of Luffy and Koby right here. And he says, I have to stop your dream from being realized. So it's not just him saying that line, which I thought was powerful, but the fact that it's connected immediately to the flashback of them at the beginning of the series.
Yeah, from the very first chapter. Oh no, I think it's second chapter maybe. But first episode. But but yeah, I think this kind of flips my opinion on its head, because I always thought like Koby, so I thought that Koby and Luffy were gonna team up in terms of like common goals, like defeating Imu or whatever. But it seems like now that Koby knows kind of what's going on and that the fate of the world is tied to the One Piece, that he's gonna have to go up against Luffy. Which I think is interesting, because I don't think Kobe's at that level yet to challenge Luffy, especially with Gear 5.
Yeah, and at the same time, he's had the fastest growth rate in the entire series in terms of power level. And I think just over and over and over again, from One Piece Film Red, the recent arcs, like Koby just keeps on getting hyped up. And even to the One Piece live action series, the amount of focus that was put on Koby by Oda. Okay, this may be a bit of a jump, but this is something this is a belief I've been, juggling for a while for me. It's like, I think there is a chance that Koby is like the final opponent for Luffy in the series.
Oh, no shot. I don't believe that.
Okay.
No, I don't believe that, but
yeah, I think it's more of a possibility, not like a convicted stance I have, but I think just because Koby was the first person he met on his journey, and then like him having a combat fight with him at the end, and again, that seems like more and more of a leap, but just how he has been portrayed and hyped up so much by Oda is just kind of interesting to me, because he's going to be an antagonist now,
Yeah.
He's not just simply going to be an ally.
Well, I think that I could see them being more like I see more parallels with Garp and Roger, where they have some sort of camaraderie with each other, but they're on opposite sides. Like, I could see like Luffy doing the same thing that Roger did and trust Koby with his child. You know, they have that kind of relationship, even though they're on opposite sides.
Yeah,
that's what I see.
It's just, this is the most antagonistic we've ever seen Koby portrayed with their relationship. So it's not just like, I need to stop you as a pirate, or I'm going to be an admiral, which is like the polar opposite of you. I have to stop your dream from being realized.
That's true as well. Yeah, going after his dream specifically.
Where the dreams are the thing, you know, and like that's why I kind of think their fight will be kind of very, very late in game if it has to revolve directly about the dream, you know. But
we know that the One Piece isn't Luffy's true dream; it's a stepping stone. So
that's true. So, but and I think, well, that's just kind of interesting, because he thinks of the flashback and he associates that as his dream, you know. So I'm wondering if there's a world where maybe it's controversial, Koby could stop him from getting this, what he appears to be Luffy's dream, but not stop Luffy's actual dream that we don't even know what it is.
Yeah, maybe. I had kind of thought like what would happen if even like Blackbeard got the One Piece, or someone else besides Luffy did. There's a lot of possibilities, especially since last chapter we saw all the people that Oda deems important for the final part of the story, which includes Koby.
Buggy could get it, you know, like theoretically.
I know. Yeah. Well, speaking of Buggy, we see that he's riling up his men, like saying that the world is going to be ours, even though I wonder how Crocodile and Mihawk really think about it.
I still know that part where Crocodile's like, yes sir. That's pretty good. And then speaking of Blackbeard too, we see the development of Caribou, where he's like, bring him over. So Oda's like, it wasn't like just like a little thing he just wanted to plop with the setup, but he's like bringing more and more light. Caribou meaning Blackbeard is going to be a big deal for the series, basically.
But so I think just Caribou getting that information out there is going to be bad for everyone.
And I think moving into now kind of like the crazier part of the chapter where we see Workery attacking the Iron Giant, and he, so he's taking more and more hits. And when we see this really cool panel of all the Gorosei just jumping in at the same time and everything, we start to see Luffy and the the Iron Giant like interacting with one another, And I thought it was interesting, like his role was to make Joyboy into the king, but it didn't work ultimately,
So I'm wondering if that probably means that Imu was like his direct opponent, and Imu usurped him and became king of the world. Or they fought against each other for that position. What do you think?
I think that seems fair. Now going back to Vegapunk's earlier part in the speech where he said he couldn't really give a moral judgment on which side was right for this war and things like that too. I find interesting because because there was the distinction between the 20 nations against the D clan, but we don't know necessarily if the 20 nations had a grievance, a good reason to attack the D clan and to overthrow it, and that Imu took advantage of the situation, so but we do know fundamentally getting beyond all the factions and all that, we do know that Joyboy is the good one in this situation. Imu is the a bad one here. Now, so I will admit, like, even though I tend not to hold this theory, or this position, it does. Okay, I think there's like positives to show that Emu will be the final bad villain in here, but I think there's also negatives too, in that the Gorosei have just taken such an incredible massive L, and they're all formed together as a whole unit, you know. And I think that is kind of humiliating for them too, you know, and I think it kind of takes away the gravitas of Emu and his faction, you know, not saving them till the end, and for them to experience such a big L this early in the series, you know.
Well, I admit that they do seem that they're defeated. I would say that this is like a one-time thing, and that they weren't straight up like beaten by raw force, because Emmett had to let out the Joyboy hockey, and and that was his trump card. He could only use it once, and it looked like the elders were just gonna kill them if he didn't do that, because they were all coming, and
and so right,
and they wouldn't have stopped.
And so I think like a good, sorry, were you saying anything?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so the contrary case against this would be also that the Straw Hats, I don't think look as, I don't know, like immaculate as people were, you know, describing their victory like way early on, you know, because look at how much help they needed to get out of here, you know, and from what we can tell, they haven't even KO'd any of their top tiers here, you know.
I mean,
not even Saturn, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that was the, people were just theorizing like what the big upheaval could be, and I think it was probably the message that got out and everything. Joyboy and the ancient weapons and the past and everything, but I think people were reading too far into it. I mean, I think we even said like, oh, what if they beat the elders here, or at least Saturn or something, but
and I think there's still a possibility for Saturn, actually.
Yeah,
you know, but like,
because I mean, I don't think he's really gonna do anything, because he's the only one that somehow is left on the island after the hockey pushed all the others back to to Mary Joa.
Yeah, and I think there's this aspect too of like, so like the Straw Hats, they needed Emmett, they needed the Giants to help out too. Sentomaru switched sides, right? You know, I guess it's not much of a cop out to say Vegapunk was on their side. I don't think that's like, you know, but there's also that dimension too, is they let Vegapunk die, you know, and that was the stated goal, to get him off the island too. So I mean, I think sorry. Yeah, go.
I was gonna say they kind of did, because from what we see, Lilith is still alive.
Yeah, that's true. You know, but specifically they wanted, you know, Stella like off, right? You know, like, so like in an ironic sense, like she's getting off and everything like that. But I think, so I think the community overdid it, you know, because even Kizaru's not KO'd also, right? You know, so the only possibility is like Saturn, right? And so the people made it seem like Luffy was just gonna like, and he did show it a really impressive performance, but it was gonna be this huge combat feat that made him like a solidified Yonko, but that didn't happen. Kind of the biggest victory kind of came from Vegapunk more than the Straw Hats when you think about it.
I mean, I don't think that's what was really being pushed, but yeah.
Well, I sorry, there were just some theorists that were saying that Luffy would take, you know, like it would be more of a combat accomplishment, you know, rather than, I think you and I kind of held this position that it was something like this, where the message was going to get out to the world, you know.
Because I mean, going back to Marineford, Luffy's biggest thing is drawing allies to himself. So I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, a lot of people said like he will defeat Kizaru here, and that will solidify his rule in the world as a big figure and as a Yonko. But I think it's kind of misreading the story of Luffy's biggest victories don't come from his combat achievements necessarily.
Mhm.
You know, it's bringing light to the ancient history. So I think that people just kind of misread that a lot. You know,
Yeah.
as some type of revenge tour, but that's not like what Luffy's about necessarily.
Mhm.
You know, so but yeah, seeing that hockey get released, it does kind of hype up Luffy more in the future, you know?
So what did you think about this? Because I mean, we've kind of seen like hockey being stored and stuff with like the swords, like Odin's hockey. So I'm wondering what the limit of it is, because it seems like the hockey is what was powering Emmett for so long, but like in the flashback that we see at the end, like I don't think he had or maybe oh no, it is the point where he has the hockey in him, so I'm wondering if that gives it life or not.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah. But yeah, I was wondering if you had any thoughts besides mine. About the hockey.
No. I think that's probably where I would go. Yeah, similar to your thoughts there. I think it's like, I think it's more than just simply just like, I don't know, flexing a hockey. It seems like to be like an attack, like Joyboy concentrated like as a really powerful attack. You know, this isn't just like a conquer a hockey flex. This seems to just be like a powerful, you know, like, that's how I interpret it, at least, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, okay, so I have thoughts because I've been on the thing that the elders do not have devil fruits, but I don't know, that seems to kind of disprove it because they get knocked out of their forms. I'm just wondering what the whole summoning circle thing is about, because because we see them being put back, even though I don't know how Saturn was the one that stayed behind, especially because I think he took the most damage out of anyone, or the most hits. But yeah, and Mars already was like, I got thrown by Luffy like chapters ago, I'm just here. But yeah, I'm wondering exactly what is going on with that, and that Emu specifically can feel the hockey. So
yeah, and
yeah,
it kind of looks like Emu teleported though, you know?
Maybe. Are you talking about with him kneeling down?
Yeah, and the huff kind of thing, you know, like right after they teleport back, you know.
I kind of read that as like he's like freaked out by like Joyboy's reappearance, because
yeah, that's true.
Just the connection now that we know that he was failed to be made king, he probably went up against Emu, and Emu's kind of like freaked out about his reappearance, and that he didn't want specifically the Gomu Gomu no Mi awakening, and the knowledge that like he didn't want Luffy's bounty poster with him in Gear 5 going out. So that's how I read it.
Yeah, I guess like one way I guess I'm reading. I mean, that's definitely possible, probable. One way I thought was like when he said Joyboy, like obviously he could have heard about Joyboy and all that, but it looks like he felt it. And
yeah,
I know there's kind of the theory that the Gorosei are kind of extensions of him, you know. So
yeah, I've read that theory
I'm
too.
wondering if he like felt the hockey through them, or if he did teleport them, he felt the hockey through the teleportation when they were all like sent back and everything, you know.
Yeah, that could be a possibility too.
Yeah, because it seems like he felt the hockey, not just heard about it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why it sent shivers, because like in the previous chapters we kind of like heard some references here and there, so but this is kind of what set him, right after the explosion happens, so and it's interesting we don't see any other emotional reaction aside from that too, and one thing I did find it was interesting, they shows the showcase Blackbeard and Emu in this chapter, and Buggy and Koby. They didn't showcase Akainu or Aokiji or Kizaru, which I thought was kind of fun, or even Fujitora either, So, actually, I don't think Fuji was shown during this entire time.
Yeah, he's chilling somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think this would interest him, the type of guy he is, know. So, yeah, but anyways, yeah. So I thought like just kind of interesting to see what we saw, what we didn't see. And once the ship is landed, we see Saturn going against Emmett, and it looks like Saturn isn't done yet.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about last week how like Bonnie got off that good hit with Luffy against him, but didn't really amount to much. But yeah.
Yeah, and do you think he's stuck here, or do you think his pride is just hit so much that he wants to kill it?
I think he's just kind of like assessing the situation right now, like seeing the robot and the Straw Hats escaping and everything. But yeah.
So do you think he's gonna go down here?
No.
Saturn? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Emmett's done. Like we see at the very last panel, like his eyes have faded. I think he used the last of the hockey was keeping him going.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I don't know. I think something could happen to him. I'm not sure by who, but I do find it interesting that Saturn was the only one that was left behind.
I mean, this whole thing started with him showing up, so it's kind of appropriate that he's the last one to see the conclusion of this. But
I agree. We did have like the send off with him already in the last chapter, though, and so I think like it would have been like he gets sent back with all the other Gories, saying nothing really have been lost, but I kind of feel like he's still in danger being here in a way. So
I think he needs to get the Mother Flame or something that's still on the island. But yeah, I don't think that he's going to be killed or anything. Written out of the story.
Yeah, I can see it just because he was introduced in a flashback and characterized in this arc, and I think it would be a first indicator that Emu's reign is truly falling when he loses one of the 5 elders. And I think that would be also pretty big news too, for this incident if one of the 5 elders went down.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's too much for him to do left for him to do. Yeah. But,
yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of the flashback with Emmett and Joyboy? Because this is the first time we really get to see Joyboy.
I liked it. It was cool.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it reminds me of Luffy. Like, he's giving the hockey to Emmett to save him, even though he's going to be dead. And I was curious because Emmett looks like he has like giant like clothing, he has that like fur lined top, and then his helmet looks very giant because they have the horns and everything. But
yeah,
so I read a couple things, and I just want to know your take on this. So in the image where Joyboy has his arms out, people were saying that he has like his right hand and leg look artificial, because like on his right hand you only see like 2 little prongs, like it could be a fake hand, like a hook hand, and then his leg looks like a peg leg. What do you think?
I'd have to see a lot more.
Mhm.
I mean, that could be it, or it's just like I said, just a drawing
I mean,
portrayal.
I mean, it's interesting because we see like his left hand is specifically like you see the five fingers and everything, and then his left leg you see
Mhm.
like the bend in his knee, um, and the width of the one leg doesn't match the one of the other. So I'm just
Yeah,
wondering,
that'd be interesting.
yeah, and I'm
Huh,
wondering
that's a
if
cool little detail. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm just wondering if he's also going to be the one that has the eye patch because Oda still hasn't drawn a pirate with an eye patch yet.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I like that. I think that's a good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, that'd be good for the pirate theme, and I think this gets rid of the theories now that Joyboy was a giant.
Yeah, I mean he could be bigger. Because my other thought was that like the connection with Emu now is bigger, and that hat could be Joyboy's because we don't get a clear sense of his scale with Emmett here. I mean he looks
Mm-hmm.
about as big as his face, from a certain perspective,
Mm-hmm.
which means he's probably bigger than like an average human. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
uh, the hat that Emu has is Joyboy's hat as like a trophy or something for defeating him.
That's possible. Yeah, he looks kind of normal. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to say like how big the giants are in comparison to Emmett.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Yeah.
Emmett was. I mean, he was smaller than the elders, but he was pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna be more inclined now to think he was kind of more of a normal human now,
Mm-hmm.
rather than a giant. But
He
yeah.
could.
So we'll see.
Yeah, he could be a three-eyed Lunarian buccaneer. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, also on that point, I do. He doesn't look like a fishman either, from what we can tell.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, but I don't know. Those are kind of my thoughts for the chapter. I love the chapter.
yeah.
Any
Same.
closing thoughts?
Um, I have a question. How much longer do you think Egghead's like officially over, or do you think we still have like a couple more wrap up chapters?
Maybe like 5 chapters. I'm putting
Five.
5, I think. Yeah.
I could see maybe 3. 11,
Yeah, right.
11:25. That's what I'm
Right.
betting on.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's where I'm at too. All right, so everybody, please like and subscribe if you have not. Leave a comment below, give it your take, and we will see you guys soon with the Jujutsu Kaisen review. Have a good one.
See ya.